Russia has a track record for growing popular and seemingly harmless websites as part of a sleeper operation. At first I was like, no shot, Danny, what are you talking about? And now I'm like, yeah, I'm sold.
Russian dog.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Brain Blaze. As always, I'm your host Simon. Welcome to the show. Web's here, one of my writers, in this case Danny, writes me a script. YouTube DIY channels are stupid. Oh, I remember where this idea came from. For some reason, YouTube started recommending me. You know, I'm generally quite impressed by YouTube's algorithm, and then sometimes it's like, do you want to watch this video? I'm like, wow, okay, that's clickbait, but I'll just click on it. And it's like, there's so many stupid channels where it's just like, this is how you do this. And it's like, just fake. And it's like, well, obviously not. And they got millions of views. And I'm just like, this is stupid. So what's going on? I think I have no idea if that's what Danny's actually written about, because I probably just gave him the title without much more explanation. Because obviously there are good YouTube DIY channels. I mean, it's pretty incredible that you can go onto YouTube and pretty much learn anything about DIY. Like, you want to hang wallpaper? I'm sure there's someone on YouTube teaching you how to hang wallpaper for free, which is amazing.
Teach me.
That's not what I mean. I mean these stupid ones where it's like, hey, have you tried cleaning your toilet with chicken? And it's like, no, obviously not. And then there's this, they've got like a faked video of it being amazing or whatever. But let's just crack on, shall we? One of the brilliant things about not living in the terrible past is that you could quickly learn a new skill or deal with an emergency in a matter of minutes by checking it out on YouTube. Oh, still the best. It's just like, you're choking on something, you're like, how to perform a tracheotomy on myself? Let's go! Obviously, you wouldn't be screaming, let's go, because you'd be choking to death. You'd just be like, don't hit those. Gone are the days when you had to gain a qualification or wade through a guidebook or ask somebody who might know what they're talking about. Need to know how to repair a knackered boiler? Get on YouTube. Need to know how to rewire your entire house? Get on YouTube. Need to know how to raise people's army and overthrow the government? YouTube! Need to know how to change a light bulb? You're doomed and you probably shouldn't be allowed internet access. It's very easy to get lost down the rabbit hole with this kind of thing. The last few years have witnessed a meteoric rise in YouTube channels focusing on DIY, crafts, and life hacks. Maybe that's what I mean. I don't mean DIY, I mean like crafts and life hacks, which are just obviously and clearly bullshit. That's how I feel about them.
Don't kill me. Please.
Now let me interrupt today's video to talk about something that's becoming a bit of a necessity in our digital world, and that is having a VPN. And luckily for you, what's that? Today's sponsor just happens to be a VPN. What a coincidence. It's Surfshark. That's right. Surfshark VPN is the absolute way to go. Look, imagine this. You're scrolling the web. You're trying to protect your privacy. Not really sure how. You think you're using incognito? That's not going to do anything. That's useless. You need a VPN like Surfshark. It's basically like having a superhero protecting you while you browse around on your internet adventures. And look, the best part is that Surfshark is very easy to use. This is so true. Some VPNs, I feel like it's a right hassle to set up. And you're like, oh God, what am I doing in settings and all? Surfshark, it's super easy. You install it and you're basically good to go. And then when you want to use it, you just like click connect. And it's like, connect. It takes 4 attempts. It's like, we'll have 4 cracks at it. I think maybe once or twice it's ever even got to attempt 2. So it's extremely reliable. I've been using it for years. It's just the easiest VPN. It's the way to go. Plus, there's various perks that because you can travel around the world with just one click, it's like, oh, maybe you want to see a different Netflix library or, all streaming services. Look, you just need a VPN and you'll see they've got loads of other stuff. But it's not just streaming. Surfshark lets you access blocked websites. I mean, over here in Europe, you're just, I like click on a website and be like, because we didn't bother to update our website for GDPR or whatever the EU law is, it's like, we just don't show it to you. And I'm like, guess where I am now? Miami. Boom. And it loads. But I'm not really in Miami, obviously. I'm virtually in Miami because of Surfshark. And here's the icing on the cake. Surfshark offers an add-on security combo. They've got Surfshark Alert, Antivirus, and Search, so you can monitor your personal data to keep your device virus-free and browse without leaving a trace. It's like having a team of internet bodyguards. So, go to surfshark.deals/Blaze. Use the promo code BLAZE to get a whopping 83% off plus 3 months for free. That's a deal you don't want to miss. And now back to today's episode. All generating massive revenue and a frankly jaw-dropping number of views from clickbait titles, vivid thumbnails, and strangely soulless tutorials which apparently teach you how to do some amazing things in just a few minutes. At least, that's what they promise, but I'm not always entirely convinced. Yeah, me neither, Danny, because it's almost always bullshit. Danny. For example, let's say that you desperately need to saw a bit of wood, but you haven't got a saw. What are you going to do? Well, you go onto YouTube. I want to cut some wood, but I don't have a saw. You might just stumble across a video from Russian YouTuber Pronkladku, who will show you exactly what to do. You just keep repeatedly jabbing at the wood with an electric drill until bits start falling off. Easy. Well, it's not easy. In fact, it looks incredibly long-winded, and it does make you wonder why anybody preparing to saw a bit of wood doesn't own a saw but has access to a drill. Yeah, no, I'm just thinking, do I have a drill? Yes. Do I have a saw? Yes, because the saw's a lot cheaper than the drill. Generally, I feel like you'd have a saw before. Would you have a saw before you had a drill? Why do I have a saw? I'm not even sure why I have a saw.
Hello, do you want to play a game?
It would be quicker then to just go out and buy a f***ing store, even if the hardware store was at the other end of town and they had to get there on foot by hopping backwards. Other strange craft DIY videos that shouldn't really exist in a civilized world shows how to inject Coca-Cola into an egg. This is the insane bullshit that I'm talking about. How to prevent onion tears by wrapping cling film all over your face before slicing. How to create a multifunctional bra purse. Good lord, what are we doing? And how to get really into the Yuletide spirit at barely any cost by decorating your Christmas tree with angels crafted from tampons. Well, at least they're not used tampons, but what the f***'s going on? And everyone knows, preventing onion tears, I just have a pair of skiing goggles that I keep in my kitchen drawer and I wear when I'm chopping onions, because then my eyes don't cry. Easy. But why are these videos turning out to be so mind-bogglingly popular? Who on earth is watching them and who on earth is making them? And could it all be part of a fiendish sleeper operation to spread Russian propaganda? Gonna guess that's a no, Danny, but maybe you can convince me. Keep watching to find out. Troom. Well, Troom is unlikely to be a part of a Russian plot, as the YouTube channel appears to be of Ukrainian origin, and most of the footage appears to be filmed in the country's third most populous city of Odessa. First launched in 2015, Troom started out as a reasonably traditional DIY channel which focused on how-to tutorials that might actually work or be of some value. I know what's happening already, because I'm somewhat familiar with YouTube. What happens is you start off as a regular DIY channel, like how to cut a log with a saw, and then you do something that's a little bit off the wall. You're like, I wonder if I can cut through this saw with a drill. And then the next thing you know, all you're doing is insanity, because you just follow what's the most viewed, and your regular how to actually do things that are useful isn't working, but your insane stuff is, so it just gets more and more insane until you just live in a world of insanity. That's what's happening, because views. Views mean money.
Take a look. Do I really look like I have money?
But it quickly developed his own wacky style as it branched out to some quite bizarre life hacks, quirky tips, and funny pranks. And Troom is doing pretty well from this gear shift. The channel currently boasts 23 million subscribers and has generated over 10 billion views, which is most likely pulling in millions of dollars in revenue every year for the slightly mysterious company behind the operation. Yeah, no f***ing doubt it is. God damn. Children seem to make up a big chunk of the target audience. Well, that's a problem, because children's content, the money sucks. Like, it's way lower, because children can't buy anything. And they made that rule against, like, there was some advertising thing that changed, and I mean, a few years ago, the children's creator, you could make bank because there was like no restrictions, and then YouTube were like, guess what, bitches? You're not going to make any money anymore. I mean, there's still good money because there's like billions of views, but it got like cut in. I can't remember what the drop was, but it was savage. It was crazy. It was like, yeah, don't forget that, you know, business daddy, please be kind. Please be kind. Because it'd be like tomorrow, just be like, hey, guess what, Simon? We're going to pay you 10 times less. You're like, oh, but my life, business daddy, my life. I don't want to start a Patreon business, daddy. They post tips on how to sneak snacks into a classroom alongside amazing recipes for unicorn food, which essentially just involves throwing funky food coloring over fried eggs to turn them purple. In fact, it often seems as if the channel is aimed at preschool toddlers, as the video depicts a cast of largely silent youth actors miming through unrealistic situations in the manner of teenage Teletubbies, while an overexcitable female voice provides the narration and states the bloody obvious. Quick example, when a blue-eyed girl starts shivering, the narrator helpfully squeals, "The blue-eyed girl is cold." I mean, this is kids' content though, Danny. This is not like spectacularly unusual. It's all f***ing shit. Seriously, I would have turned my nose up at this garbage at the age of 4. Some viewers find the narration and the general tone of the videos to be bordering on the unsettling. The constant barrage of bright pastel colours and peculiar phrasing can come across as a bit unnatural, and there have clearly been a few translation issues along the way, as the all-American narrator doesn't seem to know the difference between golf balls and tennis balls or lemons and limes. But what kind of stuff are the kids being encouraged to make and do in minutes? Well, some of the DIY creations are perfectly harmless but perfectly useless. In one popular video, we're shown how to adapt your mobile phone case into a storage unit for a toothbrush and a small dollop of toothpaste. What the f*** are we doing? So you'll always be prepared for a random teeth clean whilst you're going about your business. What the fuck is going on? This is the crazy shit. You're in the depths of insanity. I wasn't sure why anybody would feel the need to clean their teeth on the streets. Perhaps it's for an emergency situation where you find yourself in line for a snog with a random stranger, but I doubt it would go down well with the other party when you spit out your toothpaste on the pavement after you finish brushing. And this is targeted at kids and teenagers. Oh, wait, the actors were teenagers and it's targeted at kids? What the fuck's going on? And why do they have mobile phones? Maybe just buy a packet of mints or something. However, I'm far more concerned about the dangerous element that frequently pops up in Troom Troom's content. One video shows you how to create your very own fake teeth braces with a mouthguard that's made out of tin foil. Why you would want to do this is beyond me. Even as a comedy prank, the big reveal seems a bit anticlimactic. What the f*** is going on? But more importantly, shoving tinfoil into your gob isn't generally a very sensible thing to do, as it could potentially lead to galvanic shock. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds scary. Another video shows you how to create a pair of DIY sunglasses by melting 2 plastic butter knives and bending them. You're probably better off just buying a pair of proper, cheap sunglasses. Yeah, and anything that gets hot enough to melt plastic is not something that a child should be playing with, Troom Troom. What are you up to? But it's weird how Troom Troom seems so keen to avoid the easier and cheaper route and is instead encouraging young kids to set things on fire whilst playing around with sharp knives and hot glue guns and sticking tin foil in their mouths. Could they be on a mission to slowly wipe out the young audience? It's that propaganda angle.
You want my children? Take them! I have the instrument to make more!
The fact that we don't know much about the origins or founders of the company has also led to a raft of conspiracy theories about what exactly is going on here, with one theory suggesting that the silent young actors are actually being held captive and are forced against their will to make videos in some kind of weird YouTube dungeon. I mean, imagine such a thing. I just think it's like some dude who started a channel and he wants to remain anonymous, and that's his right. I don't... That's fine. Not everyone is sticking their face over everything. I'm not entirely convinced by such conspiracy theories relating to Troom Troom, but there are much wider suspicions relating to one of the biggest YouTube channels of all, 5 Minute Crafts. Oh, these are big time. I think they even have an office here because I got a linked. LinkedIn will sometimes just be like, "Hey, do you need a job?" And I'm like, "No, have I ever clicked on these?" And I think one of these was for 5 Minute Crafts, so I think they must have an office here or something. It seems harmless enough on first glance. 5 Minute Crafts is dedicated to supposedly simple craft projects, exciting new recipes, and amazing new uses for common household objects, particularly bananas and toothpaste. Everyone seems a bit obsessed with bananas and toothpaste. And the numbers make Troom Troom look like bumbling amateurs. Yeah, 5 Minute Crafts is they're the big ones. Since launching in 2016, the most popular how-to channel in the world has attracted nearly 80 million subscribers, generating over 25 billion views, and is quite probably raking in an absolute fortune. Yeah, no doubt. Look, they've got offices all around the world, apparently. And it's only one part. Ah, yes, I'm sorry. It was the Soul Publishing. They have an office here. That's who I saw it from. And it's only one part of a mighty Russian digital empire called the Soul Publishing. The company has roots in the small publishing business AdMe, which was founded in 2004 by 2 Russian entrepreneurs who later moved to Cyprus in 2016 as their company evolved into the Soul Publishing. Alongside 5 Minute Crafts, the company also operates a bunch of other massively popular YouTube channels and social media pages, pumping out thousands of new videos every month from their relentless content mill. It's very rare that the founders, or indeed anyone associated with the Soul Publishing, agrees to an interview, so it can be tricky to figure out what exactly they want from us. In the case of it's views and money, mate. It's just views and money. In the case of 5 Minute Crafts, the company mission appears to be based on the concept of bewildering viewers with utterly pointless, stupid, misleading, and overcomplicated craft creations, some of which would be impossible to complete in a week, never mind 5 minutes. And they're all presented in the same strangely cold and vacuous style, with no attempt to interact with the viewer, almost as if the whole operation is managed by robots. Possibly. Let's take a quick look at some of the things we can learn from 5-Minute Crafts. The channel seems to have a peculiar fascination with toothpaste, probably because squeezing white toothpaste from a tube looks strangely satisfying on screen in the accompanying thumbnails. 5-Minute Crafts have reached the conclusion that toothpaste is the miracle cure for everything. One video shows how teenagers can instantly overcome a bout of acne by just smearing toothpaste all over the spots, whilst another shows how toothpaste can soothe the pain of a skin burn. None of these things are true, right? It's all made up. In fact, smearing toothpaste all over your pimples and burns is generally considered to be a bad idea, as pointed out by Colgate, who go to great lengths on their website to warn customers that toothpaste contains abrasives and detergents which can cause irritation and dryness when applied to the skin. And Colgate have an incentive to sell loads of shit. You think if Colgate, if toothpaste cured acne, Colgate wouldn't be all over that, being like brush your teeth and cure acne? Of course they would, because they love money. The last thing you want to be doing with toothpaste is smearing it all over your face and on your burns. And whilst we're on the subject of teeth hygiene, I would recommend that you don't follow the channel's top tip for whitening teeth, which involves sticking hot glue onto your toothbrush. That's only going to lead to scalded gums, but maybe you could just smear more tooth-soothing toothpaste all over the scalded areas when the pain becomes unbearable. What the 5-Minute Crafts, this is some dangerous shit you're up to. You might need a relaxing sit down after your mouth has caught fire again, but what are you supposed to do if you don't have a chair? Well, 5-Minute Crafts has a particularly cunning idea. Simply make your own super comfy chair from 4 pairs of identical jeans stapled together. As featured in the video, 41 awesome DIYs for your home, the method involves stuffing the pairs of jeans with foam and then stapling them together at the ankles until you've made a chair. It's another strangely convoluted solution to a simple problem, which in this case could just be solved by going out and buying a fucking chair, which is surely going to work out cheaper than ruining 4 pairs of perfectly good jeans. Besides, despite what we see in the video, the staples are never going to be strong enough to hold denim jeans together. It's just not going to work. Yet none of these things work. That's the whole problem. It's just all clearly nonsense. Maybe we'll have some more success with the channel's cooking tips. We surely can't go wrong making a grilled cheese sandwich, can we? But hang on, how do we grill the cheese sandwich if we find ourselves in an environment with no grill or indeed any other traditional kitchen appliance? Most of us would probably shrug and just have the sandwich cold, but that's almost like conceding defeat. 5-Minute Crafts suggests that you instead wrap the sandwiches in aluminium foil and then iron both sides of the sandwich until it's perfectly grilled. One slight downside, as demonstrated by YouTuber and 5-Minute Crafts hater Jarvis Johnson when he attempted it himself, is that whilst the bread gets warmed up a bit, the cheesy content remains tragically untouched by heat. That's disappointing news for anyone who has inexplicably found themselves in a kitchen which has been stripped bare of everything except bread, cheese, aluminium foil, and an iron. We might be better off sticking to ice cream. 5-Minute Crafts showed viewers how to rustle up a delicious new homemade ice cream recipe using heavy cream, sugar, dry ice, and activated charcoal. Of course, those things have gone knocking around dry ice and activated charcoal rather than, I don't know, a freezer with ice cream in it, you clowns. Messing around with dry ice in the kitchen is not recommended for younger viewers, but I'd be more concerned about using activated charcoal as a fun ingredient. I went to a restaurant the other day where they made the ice cream at the table. It was really cool. You're just sitting there, and then I ordered the ice cream for dessert, and this dude comes, and he gets this liquid nitrogen, he pours it in this big bowl, and then he starts squirting this cream from this canister into there and then throwing it around in the thing, and then he puts it on the plate in front of you, and then he pours all the liquid nitrogen over the table. It's like whoosh! It was awesome. But don't do it at home. And why would you have this at home? Not only can it absorb any medication you're taking and prevent it from working, the consumption of activated charcoal can also cause diarrhea, vomiting, and blockage of the digestive tract. Just don't go there. Even that's not quite as reckless as the video, which encouraged you to turn a strawberry completely white by drenching it in bleach. What the fuck? I'm not sure what you're supposed to be doing with it afterwards. The tip was presented as a crazy fruit hack, but I can't see what's useful about changing the color of strawberries and potentially poisoning children who might not realize that some clown has dipped their favorite healthy fruit into bleach. And whilst the video didn't encourage you to eat the strawberries, it didn't offer any kind of warning to children or idiots that you shouldn't. 5-Minute Crafts later took the rare decision to edit this segment of the video out, but not before it had racked up 1.5 million views, which is probably an underperformer for them, to be honest. Other classic tutorials from 5-Minute Crafts include videos on how to create a chopping board from melted down bottle caps, how to create a pair of sandals from sanitary pads and hot glue, and how to create a pair of cheap crap Crocs by first destroying your expensive Doc Martens, as well as how to create an eyeshadow brush using locks of your own hair, and how to keep watermelons fresh by covering them in cement. I believe these are all real, which is just insanity. And people lap this up like there's no tomorrow. Simon Whistler, take notes. Jesus Christ. It's so strange that this is so popular. 25 billion views. I don't have 20. I want 25 billion views. But be careful with that hot glue gun. It's not a toy. The motive. The obvious question is, how did such utterly useless DIY channels, and there are way more out there than Troom Troom and 5 Minutes Crafts, get so massively popular, and what is the reasoning or purpose behind them? I will have a crack at this, being a YouTube big brain. I mean, not like these guys, but I know a fair bit. Okay, so YouTube 101. Thumbnails, watch time, click-through rate. Big things, right? You gotta have a thumbnail that makes people click on it. And if people click on it and then watch lots of your video, it's going to be successful. It's just, that's the basic formula, right? And I think these have extremely clickbait title and thumbnails. So they have the toothpaste or whatever, and this is down to a fucking science. And then people click on it. And then they do listicles, which are also really good for viewer retention, because people will see one and then it will go into another and another and another, and they'll just keep watching, sort of like people on TikTok, where you just keep watching. And so it has a great click-through rate, long watch time, and then it gets promoted and people watch it. The fact that it sucks doesn't really matter, because no one's really doing these things. No one's watching them and doing them. They're just watching them to see other people do them, even if it's bullshit. They don't really mind, and that's why these things are massively popular. And that's my take on it, at least. Let's see what Danny thinks. It strikes me as deeply odd that one of the most successful genres on YouTube today revolves around videos with clickbait titles and misleading thumbnails which show you how to make something dangerous which isn't actually needed and doesn't work in real life. Although Troom Troom may not be intentionally trying to kill off children, it's been alleged that they may at least be trying to demotivate them. Every kid is going to feel a bit useless and deflated when they completely fail to accomplish the impossible project that was presented to them as something simple, which any fool could pull off in a few minutes. Maybe there's something in the idea that their rival 5 Minute Crafts is just a crafty Russian plot to spread disinformation and propaganda in the West. And on the face of it, there doesn't appear to be anything overtly practical in a video which shows you how to make a suitcase from a plastic gasoline bottle. But the Soul Publishing Company are reported to have dipped a very cautious toe into political advertising. One of the parent company's smaller video channels, Smart Banana, posted a video in 2019, now pulled, which gave a heavily sanitized account of the life and times of Joseph Stalin, suggested that Ukraine is part of Russia, and concluded with an enticing preview of future Russian expansion, which included most of Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Holy shit! Holy shit, bro! The 5 Minutes Crafts is like world domination. And it's not even joking.
I don't want peace. I want problems, always.
Yota Mafir, an assistant professor at the University of Buffalo, has suggested to the Medium platform that Russia has a track record for growing popular and seemingly harmless websites as part of a sleeper operation. At first I was like, no shot, Danny, what are you talking about? And now I'm like, yeah, I'm sold. Holy shit. He says it's just a foot in the door kind of tactic. It has to be interesting enough and look normal enough for people to keep you in their list, and when need comes, these sleeper operatives are activated. Certainly food for thought. But perhaps it's more likely that these companies are just enjoying the benefits of getting very rich by leveraging popular keywords and using super-saturated thumbnail images and provocative titles to arouse the curiosity of billions of viewers. Yeah, honestly, I just think they're just making some bank. They probably got paid for that propaganda video as well. Probably a lot. Maybe we have to take a portion of the blame for just clicking on any old shit with a hyperreal photograph and a title which promises to show you how to make a vacuum cleaner from an old egg carton and a can of Coke and a battery motor. But perhaps it's also a bit of a shame that the YouTube algorithms can be so easily manipulated to get utterly useless content trending and riding so high in that recommended list. We could be learning so much more stuff from YouTube to improve our skills and sharpen our brains. Yeah, you could, like this content. Come on now. But instead, we're watching videos which show us how to create a makeup bag from marshmallows. I genuinely believe that could be one of them. I don't know if that's a Danny joke or whether that actually exists on 5 Minute Crafts, because it could be possible. Please do carry on enjoying this kind of content. If it floats your boat, just have your wits about you. 5 Minute Crafts suddenly starts posting videos that guide you through the process of creating a nuclear bomb to destroy your own city using only a hot glue gun and toothpaste. Sleeper agents. That's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Why do I have a saw? I'm not even sure why I have a saw.
Hello. Do you want to play a game?